meeting, September 8th, regular business meeting of the Lee County Board of Education to order. Mr. Trey Newell will give this evening's invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, bless our time together tonight. Grant us wisdom, respect, and guidance as we make decisions for the good of our students and community. Amen.
You have this evening's agenda before you, and if there are no modifications, we can adopt by consent. At this time, our Vice Chairperson, Mrs. Donna Ford, will review protocol and guidelines for public participation during this evening's meeting.
Meetings of the Board of Education are held to conduct the affairs and business of the school system. Although these meetings are not meetings of the public is invited to attend all meetings, and members of the public are invited to address the board at appropriate times and in accordance with the procedures established by the board or the superintendent. Thank you.
At this time, Dr. Truitt will guide this evening's welcome and recognize a group of outstanding students we have with us.
Okay, good evening and welcome to our September Board of Education meeting. We are off and running into a great school year. Our intentional approach to continuous improvement has been seen across the district. Thanks to our incredible teachers and leaders, we are seeing students reading, writing, and doing the work. Our goal is to ensure that our system reflects the hopes and dreams of the families of this community, and we continue to move student learning forward through a common sense, fiscally responsible approach to education. Thank you all for coming, and we are looking forward to a great meeting. I would now like to invite Mr. Rocky Ledford, Director of Teaching and Learning in 612, to the podium to announce our recognitions this evening. Mr. Ledford.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Truitt. So good evening, everyone. We love our opportunities to recognize all of our wonderful students and staff in Lee County. Today, we're going to recognize the Twin Oaks Archery Team. They are a 5-time state champion and have won every year. Great job. They're a national archery in the schools Georgia Elementary State Bullseye champion and a first-time 3D state champion. Well done. They also competed at nationals in Louisville, Kentucky in May, and they finished 19th out of 184 teams in Bullseye, their highest finish yet.
Nice.
In 3D, the archery team finished 22nd out of 91 teams at national. Congratulations, Coach McKinley and the team, on another amazing season. When I call your name, please come up, and we're going to ask that you remain at the front for a picture at the end. Parker Armentrout. Mia Avery. Bennett Baker. Harley Bridwell. Aaliyah Castillo. Jession Cheeks.
Say hey to them. Get ready for your
Jace Cherry. Tyler Davis.
Cherry.
Kathy Douglas.
Cat.
Tucker Drew. Christopher C.J. Hickox. Peyton Horn. Gabriella McKendry. Grant Mueller. Wade Osterbein. Zane Patnall. Knox Perlman. McKaylin Peterson. Brooklyn Reagan. Caroline Singletary. Cohen Snelson. And last but not least is Miss Evelyn Swan. And do we have Coach McKendry? Okay, we'd love for you to stay up here and get a picture. Run, play some
Yes,
kind of deal.
absolutely. Guys, if you'll squish in for me just a little bit, scooch in, make sure I can see everyone's heads. And can I get you to get on the front row, my love? Yes, if you'll shift for me, shift this way ever so slightly. May I get you two gentlemen on the other side for me?
Baby. You can stand on his feet.
Guys, right in the
I
front.
promise, we'll scoot
Perfect.
forward. But you can just put your heels on his feet.
Yes. Yes.
Come in front of her.
I was about to say, Trey, you got it. But you did help me out, that's perfect. Scoot back just a little bit for me, my love. You can scoot back just a little bit for me back, and then you can get right there, and then you can bend down on your, with your hands on your knees, and you can do the same thing. Just like that, that's perfect. Scoot in, and scoot in, Jesse on.
No, come stand by her.
And then you can, yeah, you can stand up actually because the person behind you is pretty tall. Everyone good? Can everyone see me? I can see everyone. Looking this way. Here we go. One, horizontal. Those certificates are horizontal landscape this way. This way. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. That's perfect. Here we go. 1, 2. You can have them open or close. Your choice. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. Trying to get all the faces. And stay put. Stay put for the parents.
Open the folders up. There you go.
Hold it all the way back. Down. There you go. Where's someone's face?
She is an absolute doll.
Good job.
But we're not going shopping. So, it's your birthday tomorrow. You can sit where you want. It's his room.
Wow. They've been looking for Bob.
We'll continue at this time. At this time, the board is requested to approve the August 11th, 2025 minutes from the regular business meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? May I have a second? Thank you. Are there any questions or corrections from the board? I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, the board needs to approve the July 2025 financial report. Dr. Truitt, do you have any comments regarding the financial report?
Madam Chair and members of the board, I make the recommendation that the financial report as submitted be accepted for the month of July 2025.
May I have a motion motion to approve the July 2025 financial report as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve.
May I have a second? Thank you. Are there any questions from the board regarding the financial report? Being none, I have a motion and a second to approve the July 2025 financial report as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. At this time, Dr. Truitt will present our monthly information and reports.
Madam Chair and members of the board, I have several updates to provide this evening. You will later have the opportunity to approve a replacement of the high school intercom system. The current system is due to be sunset this year. What that means is that there are not any more available updates, and the service on the system will be limited. Currently, classroom phones are not all in service, and there are issues with the system in which parts are not always available. As we have discussed previously, we are developing planning around replacement of systems, building in a lifespan to ensure that as equipment becomes outdated or obsolete, we have built in the budget a replacement system. The request for information was placed on the state procurement site following Georgia Department of Education guidelines, as well as on the Doing Business with Lee system. The new system does include equipment and installation for the high school expansion as well. In addition, as our normal course of business this time of year, we will find you will find supplement assignments on tonight's consent agenda. Our SPLOST collections for the month of August totaled $495,603.33. As a reminder, special local option sales tax is an additional penny sales tax that we have continued to have in Lee that allows a fund to be developed for capital projects. This ensures that anyone who spends money in Lee County is contributing to the fund, which allows projects that would otherwise be funded through the general fund to not fall solely on the backs of Lee County property owners. Without SPLOST collections, renovations or expansions of buildings, replacements of roofs and floorings would have to be done through general funds, which could potentially adversely affect the millage rate. We do have a SPLOST renewal approaching this spring. We will be soliciting family and community opinions on what projects need to be included in that SPLOST. As a reminder, this is a continued penny sale tax. It is not new, so please look forward to hearing updates on the feedback and the planning for future meetings. For maintenance this month, you'll see we have issued 430 completed corrective orders. 430 were issued, 337 were completed. We have preventative maintenance work orders, 150 were issued, 139 were completed. Tonight you have in your packet the first presentation on revision to policy IBB, charter schools. Tonight we have the first read on the updates to policy IBB, which is information on charter schools. In order to meet the changes to the charter school state legislation, we have made red line adjustments that you will see on your copy. House Bill 318 made changes to the State Board Rule 160-4-9-.05, which addresses the local charter process. This change affects board's policy IBB, charter schools, which governs how local school districts receive charter petitions. We are adding Exhibit IBB-E1, which is a timeline in accordance with House Bill 581 and State Board Rule. The first presentation of the board policy contains the revisions and makes sure that we are in compliance with the Georgia Office of Charter School Compliance. We will place the policy out for 30-day public comment. Immediately, we will add the attached exhibit that outlines the required timeline for the application as required by state legislation. These adjustments will ensure that we are in compliance with all regulations. At this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Kelly Duke, the Senior Director of Secondary Leadership and Learning, to the podium to share information for Mrs. Katie Peppers, who, as of yesterday, is a first-time Nana. So, Oliver was born yesterday, and Mrs. Duke is going to share information on K-5 English Language Arts resources.
Good evening, Dr. Truitt and board members. I'd like to take just a few minutes to update you on our high-quality instructional materials for grades K-5. The Georgia Early Literacy Act requires that instructional materials used by teachers align with the science of reading, which provides comprehensive instruction in the foundational skills that students need to ensure that they have a strong base for future reading success. Additionally, these materials must align with the Georgia English Language Arts standards and must have the approval of the State Board of Education. As you know, the state's list of high-quality instructional materials was released last year. Benchmark Workshop, our current resource for K-5, was included on the list and was highly ranked based on evidence and resource accessibility. Benchmark Workshop has been the primary resource for K-5 English Language Arts in Lee County for the past 5 years. As we approach the end of our contracted period, we are reviewing achievement and usage data, as well as seeking information on other high-quality instructional materials that could potentially be used to support student learning in order to ensure that we're making the best decision possible for our students as we move forward. I would like to briefly review our timeline with you. As you can see, this month we have created a request for information to identify one or more vendors who meet or exceed our local and state requirements. The intent is to request feedback from potential vendors and establish a list of those who may be eligible to participate in a future contract with our system. The list will be based on research-based resources that are directly aligned to Georgia's ELA standards and rated as strongly recommended on the state's high-quality instructional materials list. We will only consider resources that are available in both print and digital formats. Next month, in October, we will have a period of time for review of the eligible resources. Based on teacher feedback from our previous review process, we will provide easier access for teachers to preview the materials and provide their feedback by making them available for review for 2 days at each K-5 school. Teachers will also have digital access throughout the entire review period. School administrators will ensure that time is provided for teachers to review the materials during the school day, and all staff members will be invited to provide valuable feedback on the alignment and quality of the instructional materials available for both teachers and students. The resources will also be available at the Board of Education for a period of time for review and input from all community stakeholders. The exact dates and times for public review will be announced in advance. The goal is to present a recommendation to the board for purchase of a K-5 instructional resource at the November board meeting. Dr. Truitt, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, that's all we have prepared. Questions on resources? Okay, at this time, I would like to invite Dr. David Sims, Senior Director of Human Resources and Student and Family Services, to the podium to share information on the upcoming requirements to meet compliance on the distraction-free bill.
Dr. Truitt, Madam Chair, board members, tonight I want to introduce House Bill 340, the Distraction-Free Education Act. HB 340 mandates that all Georgia public K-8 schools implement policies to restrict student access to personal electronic devices during the instructional day. The goal of the bill is simple. It's to keep classrooms focused on learning, minimize distractions, and give teachers and students the best environment for teaching and learning. HB 340 bans device access for all students K through 8. This law is very clear. K-8 students won't have bell-to-bell access to phones during the instructional day. This means from the first bell that starts the day to the last bell that ends the day. This includes transitions, breaks, dismissal, eating breakfast, lunch. It includes from bell to bell. High school students are not included in this mandate, but the law gives local boards of education the flexibility to extend restrictions if they so choose. We have to, or you have to, adopt a policy by January 1st, 2026 that will be enforced by July 1st, 2026. As part of this bill, the district must decide on what type of storage solutions they will provide students. Options include lockers, lock pouches, classroom bins, or requiring devices to stay in backpacks. The bottom line is they cannot be used during the school day. Because of the forethought of our Board of Education and Administration, Lee County Schools is in a much better position than many other districts. Currently, Lee County School System student handbooks, the policies for students in high school 9 through 12. Students may have phones but cannot use them during class. Use is allowed before and after school and at lunch. But for K-8, phones are not allowed to be brought to school. This is already stricter than most districts, and although not fully aligned with HB 340, it does put us in a very good starting point. Part of HB 340 also talks about communication protocols. The law shifts how communication is handled during the school day from parents to students, as parents will now be expected to go through the school office rather than contacting students directly. Off-site events, the rules do not stop at the classroom door. They apply on field trips, on buses, athletics, and during extracurricular activities that happen during bell to bell. Anywhere the school is responsible for students, the same expectations carry over. The law calls for progressive discipline, warnings, and then confiscation, as well as parent contact. Lee County School System already uses a progressive discipline system, so we are completely in line with that part of the bill. Students with IEPs, 504s, or medical plans, if it is written into their plan, they will be allowed to use them as the plan outlines and dictates. And finally, the law is uniform across the state. There are no waivers. This is not something that you can waive. The action steps going forward tonight is an informational session, if you will, with a planned first policy read by the November school board meeting, second policy and adoption by December 8th, which would put us in compliance to have policy adopted by January 1st. Dr. Truitt, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you. That's all we have for this evening. Any questions?
Is it already our policy that no cell phones can come to high school?
It doesn't
Not
say
high
that they
school.
can't.
I mean,
It doesn't say that they can't come. They can't be used during the class. And it is already, we already have that.
but you just had a policy up there that said not allowed to be brought to school rather than K through 8. Is that our current policy?
It
Or is
is.
that something you want us
That's
to
in our
vote on?
handbook,
That's currently in our handbook.
yes.
Okay. And if they can bring it, the high school, they can't use it for athletics or anything? How are we gonna handle communicating with parents?
So that's part of what we'll develop over the next few months. This is just information on what the expectations are, and then we'll work on drafting that together as to what that looks like to present a first draft in November.
Gotcha. Thank you.
In other words, we haven't worked out all of those details yet.
I'm sure, right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes what we have prepared this evening.
Wow.
It is necessary for the board to adjourn for an executive session to consider certain matters. The board will reconvene at the conclusion of the executive session. May I have a motion to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or dismissal, or periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or an employee, or to interview applicants for the position of superintendent, and to discuss or vote to authorize negotiations to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, authorize ordering an appraisal related to the acquisition or disposal of real estate, enter into a contract to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, subject to the approval and a subsequent public vote, or enter into an option to purchase, dispose of leased real estate, subject to approval and a subsequent public vote. Yes, it was. Okay. Is there a second? Thank you. Are there any further questions? Okay, it is motion and seconded to adjourn to executive session. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0, and we're currently adjourned.
Oh.
Reopen. Thank you. May I have a second? Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? It is motion and seconded to reopen. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0, and the regular business meeting is called back to order. Next, we'll consider our monthly business items. In the first business item, the board is asked to approve the current personnel consent agenda. Dr. Truitt, do you have any comments on the current agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the board, I recommend that the personnel agenda is approved as presented.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the current personnel consent agenda as presented? Okay. May I have a second? Thank you. Are there any questions on the personnel consent agenda? Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve the current personnel consent agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. In the second business item, the board is asked to approve the current consent agenda. Dr. Truitt, would you like to comment?
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the board, you have been presented with a consent agenda containing fundraisers, out-of-state or overnight trip, board policy GBRH, professional personal leaves and absences, board policy IFBG, internet acceptable use. There were no public comments on either. FY26 local school board governance annual training report due to the Georgia DOE by 9/30/2025, and annual supplements. Madam Chair and members of the board, I recommend that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
May I have a motion to approve the current consent agenda as presented? May I have a second? Are there any questions or comments from the board? I have a motion and a second to approve the current consent agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. In the third and final business item, the board is asked to approve the replacement of certain obsolete equipment. Dr. Truitt, would you like to comment?
Madam Chair and members of the board, as I mentioned earlier, you have a request in front of you to replace the Lee County High School intercom system. That we received 2 bids or a request for information. It was placed both on the state procurement site and the doing business with Lee. On July 17th, it was posted for 30 days on both places. The lowest bid was Boygan New Quest system through Envision Technologies for the purchase price of $93,968.29. I recommend that we move forward with this acquisition.
May I have a motion to approve the replacement of the obsolete equipment as presented?
Motion approved.
And may I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? There being none, I have a motion and a second to approve the replacement of the obsolete equipment as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I'm going to abstain because of the family relationship. The motion passes with 4 yeses, no opposition, and 1 abstention. The board sets aside time during each regular business meeting for members of the school district to address the board on related issues of concern in accordance with published policies and procedures of the Lee County Schools. The board received 1 request to speak at this evening's meeting. As a reminder, presentations should be limited to 5 minutes or less. A clock will be provided for the convenience of each speaker. We ask that remarks be respectful and civil. They must be addressed to the board as a whole. Please understand that the board will consider remarks through future decisions, but no action will be taken in the current meeting. At this time, we invite Mrs. Beverly Carswell to the podium.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent. My concern is dealing with the taxpayers are headed for another tax increase due to overspending and higher values placed in taxpayers' properties. Taxpayers are paying on debt created by the board from the past and headed for more debt due to a recent approval for a bond in the amount of $10.6 million. Debt caused from overspending, they say renovations on projects and modernization says projects. I have a question on the reason for such. On the latest one, the 10.6 million bond, I heard two different reasons being told. I attended the county meeting on July 22nd. The bond for 10.6 million was referred to renovations on elementary schools. However, the paper said in an earlier edition, the bond was for a new gym. So which is it? Renovations or something new? Who approved this bond? I don't recall the voters approving it. The debt the taxpayers are paying is compounding as I speak, and the spending keeps going on. My books don't work that way. Spending going on, debt on top of debt. What happened to doing it the right way? Planning, budget without causing debt, and on top of debt, pay as you go. I think that's the county's philosophy. The East Wash sales tax revenue for education, when I voted, I had great expectations this revenue would be used wisely, getting things done without causing additional hardship on the taxpayers. So what happened to improving education? All I hear is facelifting the schools. It's like the spenders have a credit card with no constraints. Look at this mess. This has been going on. Baggage of debt, getting a bond, causing more taxation. The board's budgets have increased significantly over the years. Higher budgets each year, I guess, is your solution to justify and pay back the damage caused. Along with the tax assessor's office, producing higher values on homes to get more taxation. Everyone I speak to is complaining about this inflated values of their homes. So we have two entities working hand in hand to ensure funds needed will be collected from the taxpayers. Someone needs to be held accountable for what has happened. So let's start with the year 2023 to prove your taxation is going to be higher. The millage rate in 2023 was 15.0. 2024 was 17.0. That's a 2.0 increase. Dreading to see what it will be this year. The bill called Save the Homeowners, our governor put in act in April, helping because due to this excessive assessments on the properties. The county is not doing that to us. The board opted out. Therefore, you will be paying taxes on higher values due to your homes. See the connection now? Board and tax assessors equals more taxation. Seniors on fixed income, I'm finding out a lot that live in Lee County don't know this. There are over 100 counties in Georgia that offer senior exemptions on school tax. Some counties offer 100%. So I wanted to know how this could be achieved for the seniors here in Lee County. I asked a very simple question to a board member on July 22nd. How does one go about the seniors getting this exemption? The comment made back to me was, I need to take it to the state. So board, who is the state? I know this decision can be voted by and accomplished right here in Lee County, and you know it too. Based on that reply, made me, as a person, feel like, I heard you, but I don't care. What happened to our leaders that are supposed to look out for the taxpayers? In closing, high inflation has caused burdens for all of us, you youngsters too. Taxpayers don't need a continuation of debt being created on top of debt. We don't need others placing blame on the other. I guess my time's up, thank you. But in closing, thank you, Mike, for all that you do. Keep it up. Somebody's gonna listen, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to attend this evening's meeting and sharing your concerns. We will take your remarks under future advisement. On behalf of the board, we'd like to thank everyone for attending this evening's meeting. I would also like to thank our administration, our teachers, our staff, and our students for continuing to make Lee County a great place to learn. And as a reminder, the next regular board meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 20th, 2025. And if there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned.